The Nintendo Switch 2. Its arrival will bring a golden age of gaming, or usher in a new dystopia. The major price controversy is only a small part of Nintendo's grand plan. A plan I have figured out because of details everyone else has overlooked. But one thing is for sure, gaming as we know it is about to change. So, what is the point of the Nintendo Switch 2? Understanding this fundamental question will answer everything from a consumer standpoint as well as from Nintendo's perspective. Nintendo loves their sequels. The original saw a jump from 8-bit to 16-bit. The 3DS added another dimension, and the Wii U gave Rose to the gamepad, which would inspire the creation of the Switch. Despite the innovations, the sequels never surpassed their predecessors. So how do you follow up the most successful gaming console of the modern era? Well, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. The Switch 2 doesn't have a lot of differences from the Switch on the surface. An overall increase with quality of life improvements, from a larger size, increased specs, finally a better kickstand. Should have included OLED, but it is what it is. So not a big change from Nintendo Switch 1, or at least that's what it looks like. Nintendo's newest innovation is hidden in plain sight, the mouse control. The only highlight it pretty much received is wheelchair basketball. But the simple addition is the key to understanding Nintendo's future, and even gaming as a whole. One point of the Nintendo Switch 2 is to act as a competitor to PC gaming. The reasoning seems fairly obvious. PC uses a mouse, so Nintendo adopts their own mouse. Hence, you could play PC games on a Nintendo Switch. Case closed. But the reasoning goes way deeper than that. Deeper than what the Steam Deck tried to do. Nintendo is not only going after games you could play with a mouse, but after a certain type of game. Live service games. The holy grail for game companies, in terms of profits and longevity. These games thrive on social interaction, and often a highly competitive nature. Not only is the Switch 2 adopting mouse controls, but they are also adding a dedicated voice chat feature, and a camera as well. The inclusion of these features wasn't made on a whim when they thought, oh, it'd be fun to have. No, it is a clear intent for adopting live service games, and a jab at Xbox and PlayStation. The casual consumer base for owning a console often boils down to, oh, my friends own one, so I gotta own the same one as well. Further support for the social capabilities on a Switch 2 will encourage more people to own a Switch. Nothing would be worse than to say, oh, I can't play with you guys because I don't own a Switch. One goal of the Switch 2 is to keep up with the competitor's hardware. The Switch 2 is going to shed this inferior hardware complex the Switch 1 had. The price of the Switch 2 reflects this desire, launching as the most expensive console in Nintendo's history, and on the upper end when adjusted for inflation. This price is in direct competition with Xbox and PlayStation, yet it still is cheaper than a PC. The price tells a story, one that further reveals itself in Nintendo's other decisions for the Switch 2. These changes of the Switch 2 harnessing the capability to play live service games like the Xbox and PlayStation is quite antithetical to how Nintendo previously operated. The company, known for making innovative changes to the way we play games, is now going the same direction as its competitors. What else made Nintendo special, and how is it changing from that? Well, besides innovating new ways to play games, exclusivity has been their biggest selling point. There is an unwavering loyalty for their franchises which are numerous in their variety and highly acclaimed within their respective genre. This reason alone is enough for some people to buy the Switch, with returning fan favorites such as Donkey Kong, Metroid Prime, and of course, Mario Kart. The big controversy, the jump from $60 to $80. It's a problem, but not because of the price itself. You could buy Mario Kart in a bundle for $50, and even still, it's been like a decade since the last entry, so $80 for a game to last a decade doesn't seem like a terrible deal. The game is now open world with a lot more features, seemingly taking advantage of the new Switch 2 hardware. The $80 is only the most blatant display of Nintendo's increasing greed, one that has been growing for quite some time. Of course, Nintendo's a company and needs to make money. It's not a bad thing. It's just a little r/A Born Dystopia. Again, Nintendo is moving into the same tendencies as every other game company, as they were once known for making new, innovative ways to play games, but now they're just going the same route to compete with their competitors. Mario Kart is ripe for monetization, online services, DLC, and an abundance of characters and skins. With Nintendo's desire to lead into the live service genre, Mario Kart is going to be their first major foray into that field. To think, the war on microtransaction is now a distant past, one that's so clearly lost. If you said Nintendo would be focused on live service, there would have been chaos. But now, it's just another Tuesday. The power of Nintendo exclusivities, as well as their live service capabilities, will propel Nintendo into success. Or disaster. Now instead of the present day where you're kind of shunned for having a Switch, they're trying to propel into a future where having a Nintendo Switch is seen as the default way to play games, such as how the default for phones often is Apple. Nintendo and Apple always kind of felt like soulmates, but their similarities are going deeper than they once were. Luxury and loyalty, the bread and butter for Apple products. Now Nintendo is establishing the same brand image, familiarity in the same devices with small tweaks, an ecosystem in the franchises they hold, and luxury with a steep price. This is the crux of the price fiasco. There's more than just a $60 to $80 price jump. It's the high cost of all the accessories, which I guarantee will also include a Switch 2 keyboard eventually, because you can't fully emulate a PC with that keyboard. There's also the additional cost to play online with your friends, and the service is not the greatest connection either. It's an additional cost to play Switch 1 games, paying for backwards compatibility. And they make you pay for a tutorial game? Seriously? Okay, paying for backwards compatibility may be justified with the additional graphic overhaul and increased gameplay capabilities with the phone. But that additional feature further feeds into the ecosystem Nintendo is building. Obviously, there's the connection with the phone, a device everyone has that's being established. But furthermore is the move to digital. Game cards are removed from their physical states. Now you have to spend more to own it. Physically, at least. They somehow managed to monetize even further, pushing to increase support for digital games, normalizing digital over physical through the new family sharing feature, which seems like a great feature. Perhaps too good of a thing, as you could share whole games with others with no setback. This further supports the idea that the money is not in selling the games anymore. The exclusives are only a gateway into spending more money. Buy the Switch for the exclusivities, but stay for the convenience. Buy the games through the eShop, their very own Steam. Try the new live service games. The Switch 2 can now support it, incentivizing gamers to play with one another. What's a couple dollars here and there? It's only $10, it's only $20, a downward spiral, further ingraining the consumer into an ecosystem, making it difficult to get out the cycle. With consoles now, it's a bit of an inconvenience to switch. However, Nintendo's goal is to make it impossible. You will own nothing. Nothing? The purpose of the Switch 2 is to establish Nintendo as not a place, but the place to play video games. And if you want to reflect a major change, you get a new look. Gone are the bright neon Joy-Cons. Instead is a more modern design. One that screams luxury. One that demands your loyalty. There is a statement piece that shows exactly the purpose of the Nintendo Switch 2. The improved hardware, the draw of exclusivity, the establishment of luxury, a warning to the competition. This is Nintendo's answer to all of it. The Duskbloods. This is how Nintendo is moving into the future. Elden Ring is a generational game. Its importance can't be overstated enough. Nintendo knows its significance by even showcasing it first in their partner showcase. What better than to have the follow-up from Software be a Nintendo Switch 2 exclusive? It was completely unexpected, because who expects a game like that to perform well on the Switch? And what was once a Sony exclusive has now become Nintendo's. The pick of FromSoft was no mistake either, intentionally picked to draw in a more mature audience. shedding the stereotype that Nintendo is only for kids games. It's not a launch title, but that's intentional. Once the initial hype of the Switch 2 wanes, boom, here comes the Duskbloods, hopefully recreating the same wave of hype Elden Ring once did. And here's the kicker. The Duskbloods is an online multiplayer game. I mean, come on, all of Nintendo's plans right there. The Duskbloods is the perfect title to showcase how different the Switch 2 is from anything else. So what is the point of the Nintendo Switch 2? It's to establish the new status quo. Nintendo was once revered for innovation, but now they're heading into another direction. Capitalization of their brand name and doing the same as their competitors. The Switch was remarkable for marrying both stationary and portable gaming, but I suspect moving forward, we will only see the Switch 3, Switch 4, and so on until VR or AR becomes profitable. A constant game console is not all bad. It's easier for developers, and it gives familiarity to gamers. But it's a little sad. Gaming was once about taking new risks, trying new things, but now it has become min-maxing the already established experience. And that sucks, in a way. Innovation is dead. A new future is on the horizon. Good or bad, one thing is for sure. It's the end of gaming as we know it.